Welcome to Haunt Tech Tips, the source for technical advice to take your haunted attraction to the next level. Here's your host, Chris Gay.
Welcome back, everyone. This week's topic is taxes. Not fun, but we all got to do it. Being a tech podcast, you might think, why are we talking taxes? There is a lot of technology behind it nowadays. It's not just scattering all your papers out on the floor and filling out paperwork like it used to be. Now there's phone apps to keep track of things. There's obviously online filing. Most of us are familiar with that. But these phone apps can save you so much time. I just did all of my personal taxes, including 2 jobs and my own business and my haunt expenses in a little over a couple hours. And frankly, it wouldn't even have taken that long. I just had a couple documents I couldn't find. And those are actually personal documents, not even business related. Obviously, different types of haunters. This is going to be a very different story for. I'll start out here. I am not a CPA, not an accountant, not an attorney. I can offer you no financial advice. However, this is just some food for thought. Make sure you do things the right way. Make sure you check with a professional that you're doing things the right way. But this is a little bit of guidance and just things to think about for this year and or next year. So if you're a home haunt and you just take donations, that's a little tricky because if you're taking a donation, it is income. Even if you didn't make a profit and you spent $500 building your home haunt and you brought in $300 in donations, unless you can show building the haunt as a business expense, which if you're a home haunter, you're not a business by definition, you are making profit. However, there are certain thresholds for reportable things. I'm not going to get into that. Again, that is a check with your accountant or type of situation. But you might want to keep track of things, or not, your call. But regardless, keep in mind it's profit, and if a neighbor ever makes a fuss, they could turn it into something. For pro haunters, obviously, this is a much bigger deal. I strongly recommend get yourself the phone app from Quickbooks. It's called Quickbooks Self Employed, and this isn't a paid endorsement. This is what I use, and it is fantastic. Does a few things for you. Once you sync it up with your bank accounts and your debit cards, credit cards, whatever, it will keep track of all of your expenses, except for cash, but you can enter those in the phone app. You can scan receipts in the phone app. You can scan, in my case, toll booth and parking receipts in your phone app. You can even have the phone app automatically track your mileage, and then you just swipe left, swipe right to say if it was business, personal, so on and so forth. As a haunter, you have to think so many things that you do for your pro haunt are a write-off. Driving there and back, not necessarily, but if you're running out for supplies, if you're, frankly, searching for things on the roadside, pallets, old furniture, things like that, driving around looking for that is mileage for your business. That's a write-off. If you're shuttling actors around, if you're going to get food for your actors, if you are going to a convention and talk about mileage, that's huge. It's all a write-off. Further, your screws, your wood, your tools, your paint, art supplies, makeup supplies, costumes, masks, animatronics, all of that, if it goes to your haunt, they're all write-offs. It's kind of funny with the TurboTax commercials this year, not to be afraid of things. It's all ghouls, and the one even asks, is my mask a write-off? And TurboTax says, outright, if you use it for work, yes, it is. Luckily, we have work that we love. The things we're buying for work, we'd buy out of pocket anyway. But if you work for a pro haunt, or if you own a pro haunt specifically, and you buy something that you're using in your line of work or for your business, usually a write-off. That's huge. Keep in mind with all of the write-offs, you do need to track it. Either have your receipts, scan your receipts in the app, let the app automatically track them for you. Although there is a caveat there, we've all seen on our bank accounts occasionally, and I had about 26 of these on my taxes. That's part of what took me so long. A expense $37, and the line item from the bank was B or HA, PayPal, QR, something like that. If you don't know what it is, you really can't write it off. So just keep an eye out for things like that don't register a full name, because that can make your taxes a little bit tricky when it comes to reconciliation of everything. Again, if you're a pro haunter, definitely go out and get yourself QuickBooks if you don't already have it, because you need to be tracking all of this stuff one way or the other. Keeping it in a computer makes it so you can't lose documents, and keeping it on your phone, obviously it's backed up online, it's cloud-based, you don't have software, it's just all on the internet or on your phone. And it does so much for you that you would never do. I think I drove something like 1,200 miles in October, as crazy as it sounds, doing supplies runs, because it's about 12 miles to the Home Depot, maybe another 5 miles to the Walmart, Goodwill shops, other thrift shops, stuff like that. It adds up. Really, really adds up. Yes, these apps, they, depending when you sign up and their deal, should cost you about $10 a month or so. If you're driving 1,000 miles and the standard write-off is about 50 cents a mile, somewhere in there, it just paid for itself very quickly, and you don't want to lose that. Standard deductions, if you do a few miles, are great, but itemized, when you're actually tracking, makes a huge difference if you do a lot of mileage, and many of us do. Here's where it gets a little bit more complicated as well. If you're a pro haunt and you pay your actors, as it stands, if you pay an actor over $600 and you don't take taxes out of their payroll, if you're just, paying them at the end of the season, paying them $50 a night, whatever you pay them, if it's over $600, they need a 1099 form. That is a subcontractor or contractor income, freelancer, however you want to call it. If you pay them as a regular employee and you take out taxes from their payroll checks, all that, which is a little bit more complicated, then you give them a W-2 form. Here's the thing. If your employees are receiving a 1099, you need to warn them, because that means form says they were paid X amount of money and it has not been taxed. So when they go to file their taxes, obviously if they don't report it, they can get in trouble because it's now been reported by you as an outgoing expense for your business. If they don't report that as income, they can get in trouble. If they do report that as income, they're going to be taxed on it at full tax rate. If your employees reach that threshold, let them know, hold on to some money, because they have to pay some taxes come April. I've seen this actually hurt some people, not in the haunt industry, but fire and EMS. They started stipends in the area recently. People got snagged by it, and they all had to pay out, and it was a substantial amount of money. Charity haunters, you're not off the hook either, but you're in a better place. You do still have to file a return, although it is a informational form, $9.90. So long story short, if you're charitable, you're tax exempt, you don't have to pay taxes, but you do need to file this form that basically just shows that, yes, money changed hands, so people that donated to you can prove that they donated. This just proves that you're a charity, that you're taking the money in, you're not throwing away huge chunks of money, things are on the up and up. For filing your taxes online, Tax Act was a big thing last year. It was free, it was easy. This year, I did it for my fiance. It was horrible. Don't know what happened there. It was very complicated. It was confusing. A lot of things weren't explained. And we ended up paying, I think, $80, $90 some dollars to file your taxes. $30, $40 per federal, $30, $40 for state. And then I think it was $30 for them to take the payment for the taxes out of the return. So that was just crazy. I just used TurboTax. At the moment of this recording, it's free as long as you don't have a huge, complicated, crazy return. Mine was free and I have a business, so that's pretty impressive. If you have the QuickBooks, if you have QuickBooks Self Employed, so on and so forth, you can import that into TurboTax and things are stupid quick and easy because it does all of the income and expenses for you based off of your import, which if I had to sit down and do all of my income and expenses, that would be, I think it was something like 30 pages of a bank statement of ins and outs. You don't want to do that. That would take forever. H&R Block also has a free offer this year. I do not know the full details of it, but it's out there. They say it's free, and hopefully that's the way taxes start to go. If the big companies, H&R Block and TurboTax, are fighting each other for free as their best, well, maybe it'll stick around. That would be great. Keep in mind, if you file your taxes early this time of the year, you know what's coming up. Trans World, Midwest Haunters Convention, National Halloween Convention. Yeah, we all know where our money's going to go right back to. But keep in mind, get your receipts at these places, even if it's cash and carry. Get a receipt. It's a write-off. That's it for this time. Relatively short an easy episode, just going over using apps for your taxes. It makes things so much faster and easier, and you should really get a lot more deductions using this way than you ever would have before because you can actually keep track of things. Also, for the podcast, we just set up a Pod Patron account. If you want to support us, per se, you get your tax refund back and want to give us a little kick, you can support at small to large amounts per month. The larger amounts are designed for our business listeners. We'll sponsor you, we'll play your ad in our podcast, and we'll put you up on our page as well as a sponsor. Hope this helps everyone out. Hope it gets you some money back or saves you some money next year, makes your life a little simpler. And more of all, hope it gives you some money you can buy some cool haunt stuff with at these conventions coming up.
Thanks for listening. Go to haunttechtips.com for show notes and more.